Welcome back to Conservative Direct. Look, we all know our elections are in shambles. Both Republicans and Democrats have been hinting that they might not accept election results they don't like. And it's safe to say there's no shortage of rumors swirling about voter fraud. And we've all seen the headlines. Recently, a ballot drop box was literally set on fire in Washington state. I mean, you really can't make this stuff up. It's 2024 and we're practically living in an episode of a political thriller. The truth is, if we're going to secure our elections and restore a little sanity to our republic, we need to rethink how we're doing this whole voting thing. And we've got the ultimate answer. Let's make Election Day a federal holiday. Yep, you heard that right. A day off, just for democracy. Now stay with me because we're going to go deep into how we got to this messy point and why a federal holiday for Election Day might just be the solution we need to make voting easy, secure, and worthy of a free nation. But first, let's rewind a bit. Ever wondered why we vote on a random Tuesday in November? Let's go back to 1845. Yes, that's right, 1845. That's when Congress decided that voting should happen on the first Tuesday after the first Monday in November. Back then, this was a decent setup. People rode their horse and buggy into town to cast their ballots. Tuesday didn't interfere with market day or Sunday church services, and farmers could actually make the trip in time. But, last I checked, it's 2024, not 1845. We're a little past needing to accommodate horse-drawn wagons. Today we have smartphones, 9-to-5 jobs, and a million other responsibilities. What worked for farmers back then does not work for modern Americans. Now, to address this mismatch with modern life, some well-meaning folks introduce things like mail-in ballots and early voting. Great idea, right? Well, not so fast, because with every so-called solution, we've gotten layers upon layers of confusion. Mail-in voting, drop boxes, early voting, absentee voting, there are almost as many ways to vote as there are issues with the process. Sure, these methods expand access, but they also make elections confusing and, more importantly, they open the floodgates to fraud, or at the very least, accusations of fraud. People don't trust a process when ballots are flying around through the mail, showing up weeks before the election and counted weeks after. Expanding access shouldn't mean abandoning security. It's become a circus that makes a joke out of something as serious as voting. So what's the answer? How do we make voting secure, accessible, and restore some faith in the process? Let's start by going back to basics in-person voting and making Election Day a federal holiday. Think about it, an entire day dedicated to voting. No excuses, no worrying about fitting it in between shifts, and no relying on a ballot you're hoping doesn't get lost in the mail. Just a single, unified day of in-person voting for the whole country. Workers who can't get time off? Solved. Parents struggling with childcare when their school closes for Election Day, but their office doesn't? Solved. With a federal holiday and requiring employers who don't shut down to let their workers vote, solves a host of practical election security issues. Making Election Day a federal holiday isn't just about practicality either. It's about national pride. Right now, civic knowledge is on the decline, and national unity? Not exactly our strong suit lately. So why not make Election Day a national celebration, a time when everyone is reminded that voting is not just a duty, but a privilege? Let's put it back on the map as a day of civic pride, a celebration of what it means to be an American with a say in how we're governed. Flags out, neighbors talking to neighbors, it'd be like the 4th of July, but with a to-do list. Give people the time and space to vote, and let's reintroduce some honor and excitement into the process. And we're not exactly reinventing the wheel here. Did you know that several states already have provisions for giving workers time off to vote? In fact, over 24 states have passed laws allowing some form of paid time off on Election Day. Some places already consider it a holiday altogether, so it's not some radical idea. It's something we can build on that's already working in other areas. States like New York, Maryland, Illinois, Hawaii, and West Virginia are already leading the charge. And the cherry on top? This idea actually has the support of both sides of the aisle. Polling data shows that making Election Day a federal holiday is a wildly popular bipartisan policy. Imagine that, a policy that both Republicans and Democrats can agree on. We're at a time when even agreeing on the color of the sky seems like a stretch, but here's something we can rally around. Americans want secure elections, and they want to know that their vote actually counts. According to Pew, 72% of Americans support making Election Day a national holiday, and 81% support requiring people to show government-issued photo ID at the polls. Can you imagine how much more secure our elections would be if our leaders actually listened to the people and rolled out these two wildly popular common-sense initiatives together? Now sure, there'll still be some exceptions, like for those who are seriously ill or for military service members deployed overseas. Those cases are the rare instances where absentee ballots actually make sense. But let's keep it at that. Exceptions, not the rule. We don't need the majority of voters mailing it in. Making Election Day a national holiday lets the majority of Americans vote in person, on the same day, the way it was intended. No more vote counting that drags on for weeks, no more delays, just good old-fashioned accountability. So what do you think? Is it time to make Election Day a federal holiday and give our republic the respect it deserves? Can we rebuild trust in our democratic process and put the ballot back where it belongs? In the hands of the people, in person? Let us know in the comments below. And as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Because if we're going to have a real conversation about our future, we're going to need everyone in on it.